Gentlemen, good evening.
Sirs, how are you?
Good. I am joined by Randy Zelia from Backsports Page. Also joined by the birthday boy himself. Happy birthday, M.
Thank you, sir.
MG1 Climax 30. Happy birthday, sir. Shout out to you.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, let's get this show started. Why don't we?
Happy birthday, woo! Happy birthday, woo! Yeah, happy birthday, woo!
From the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. How are you all doing tonight? Randy M, how are you guys doing?
Rocking and rolling, baby. Rocking and rolling.
Late, but better late than never.
This is the second show of the night, so those that are watching on
rocking
YouTube,
and
this is our
rolling.
second show tonight. We are episode 39.
39 already?
Episode 39.
We
This
grew up
is,
so fast.
The wrap-up episode of week 21.
Yeah. We should have a driver's license and everything now.
Episode, the big 4-0 will be next week.
Yeah, I'm starting to get this is midlife crisis already.
Well,
It coincides. Like I'm almost 40. Actually, wait, this is episode 39. I just turned 39. So I'm freaking out along with the show. What is it? Midlife crisis. Here we come.
Hold on, you just turned 39?
Yeah, I'm an old bastard.
I turned 40 before you? What the heck is that?
Really? I'm the youngest one here? Oh,
Dang! I know that. I thought this year was 4-0 for you.
Nah, no, thankfully. I can wait.
Oh, man.
It already feels like I'm 1,000. I'm in no hurry to get to 40.
I only got 3 months left. This is not good.
It is not.
It's not good.
Rand, you there? I think we lost Rand.
He is frozen.
We lost him.
He is frozen. Well, listen. I got you on right now. Randy will be back on in a moment. Let's start really quick. MG1 Climax 30.
Oh, my God.
Give us a little quick preview, if you wouldn't mind, of this week's New Japan.
New Japan, we are looking at a crazy stacked card, man. From A Block alone, we're looking at some crazy matches.
I heard A Block is the more steep.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. We're looking at what is it? Kota Ibushi and Okada right off the bat. Then we have what is it? Shingo Takagi and Jay White.
Okay,
this is all in the first night. You got Minoru Suzuki, which I love, against another heavyweight. You have the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii, and then Jeff Cobb joins them again. He fights Tai Chi, and then the last match of the night would be Will Ospreay versus. God damn it! I can't see here. I'm half blind. See, this is why I like to wear my glasses. You guys made fun of me.
We did that out of love, just for the record.
Oh, is that what we did? Yujiro Tanahashi.
So that's A Block. So
A-Block.
Let's get this straight for those that are watching and listening. So the A Block wrestlers are all going to be competing against each other throughout the whole time. Whoever has the best record goes against the group of wrestlers from the B Block. Those guys will be wrestling each other for the entire month, and the two wrestlers with the best record go against each other in the finals. Is that correct?
Correct. So every win is 2 points. Every draw is 1 point, and a loss nets you nothing. So it's going to be a hell of a ride. In B Block, on the second night, we have immediately Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Tetsuya Naito, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil.
Oh,
We got Goto versus Kenta. We have Sonata and what's his name here? Yano. Then the last match is Yoshihashi and Juice Robinson. So that's the first 2 nights of the tournament. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait. This is like one of the most exciting times in wrestling. Every year, the G1 Climax tournament, it's magical.
Now, let me ask you this to further clarify, and I'm thinking they're doing it the same way this year. But the singles one-on-one matches for the A block, when that happens, then the B block wrestlers are the one thrown in the tag team matches.
Correct.
And then the same thing with Sunday, the B block one-on-one matches, the A block will get the tag matches. Is that correct? They're doing that this year?
Correct.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite to win this year? I'm a couple possibilities. I mean, I've heard Will Ospreay.
I heard
potential, and
I don't think he's
Jay
winning.
White in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Jay White is there. Will Ospreay is there. It's really hard to pick a winner, man. They're pushing Evil, so we might have Evil win it this year. They said that this was his year to like. He already won the titles once, so maybe we're looking at that another rematch. The third match between him and Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom.
Awesome. And that starts, if I'm not mistaken, early wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning, huh?
Yep, 4 a.m.
So you're going to stay up the whole night, aren't you?
No, I got to work. But I will be watching it first thing at work. I'll have it on in the background.
No spoilers.
Every single day. No, we never do spoilers. So I got to watch myself because last year I was so excited. I stood up for the final, and that's when Kenta joined Bullet Club, and I immediately put it on Facebook. That was a mistake on my part, but I won't do that this year. I promise.
Interesting. Well, I mean, listen, we got a nice, especially for the New Japan pro wrestling fans, you got a nice long stretch of good wrestling coming up. Not to mention, we have the build towards the AEW Dynamite 1 year anniversary show that's happening. And for those that are watching WWE, you got Clash of Champions next week.
Both of them.
So there's a lot going on over the next few weeks, especially for the fan that watches everything. It's going to be a nice little stretch.
Yeah, they're not going to sleep much.
No, not to mention we got NXT Takeover beginning of October,
and for those
a lot going on.
And for those of us who watch Impact, the road to Bound of Glory.
Bound for Glory?
Yeah,
nice.
That would be. Isn't Bound for Glory in December?
Yeah, I just got our good friend Ross Foreman from Impact sent me a press release today announcing Eric Young defending his Impact World Championship against Rich Swann, former couple WWE guys.
Yeah.
Look, listen, Impact is on the upswing. It took a special person like Dixie Carter to destroy something as good as it was, and now these guys are rebuilding it, and look, and it's actually turning out to be a nice little promotion. I thought, Em, I don't know how you feel about this. Wayne, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm just saying it. I thought
already plugging Impact.
Well, listen, the simple fact of the matter is Impact was on a roll until Hogan and Bischoff sort of came in. It's not like you can't just put all the blame on them saying that they derailed it, but it was nonstop action for a while.
Yeah, but one thing that I hate to interrupt you, but it was action, but their storylines had they needed
they were inconsistent. Yeah, they were inconsistent. Inconsistent, but you know what though? It was working, but the problem was that was one of those things where the promotion got too much too soon, and and eventually the bottom fell out. Like the mistake number one, the Hogan Bischoff and bringing more established guys in that overshadowed the guys who they were building for a while there. And then part two, which of bad decisions, is they were in a time where you actually had like TiVo and ways of being able to record the other channels. You don't go against WWE on a Monday night at that point. You should have stayed where you were on Thursdays and you built your own audience instead of...
Yeah, it was hubris.
Yeah, it was like, that was Hogan sitting there saying, I'm Hulk Hogan. People still love me, 2007, and let's try and go against WWE. And it was like, bad idea. So
that's the thing is that most... if people aren't watching WWE is because they want an alternative. And Impact was an alternative for a while. And then
alternative.
Yeah, and then it started becoming like WWE. At some point, you had Hogan, you had all these guys coming over. You had every time somebody got fired, you had what is it? Mr. Kennedy went over there as Mr. Anderson. It was just we don't want to see that.
Yeah, like when Rhino came in and beat Jeff Jarrett on his like second night in to become NWA champion, and then Christian came over and he won the NWA championship,
Exactly.
and then Sting came over, and then Raven came over.
Yeah, it was all, and that's the thing. It may not have been that, but the perception that the fans had of it was that it was a has-been WWE place, a destination. It just didn't appeal to people, and that's one of my fears for AEW right now is that we're getting a lot of WWE guys, even though we're getting good ones. I don't want people to perceive it as a place that WWE wrestlers go when they couldn't make it in the majors.
Well, but my thing is, like you just said, you're getting good ones in there. I think now Cody and company is at a point where they can start being selective. Now,
that's fine, but
like
right now, who's the champion?
Well, right now the champion is
I think
John
we lost
Moxley, but here's the thing.
John
We were
Moxley,
saying this about AEW was no, I'm here. Yeah, Moxley. Yeah, Moxley's the champion, former WWE guy. Cody, former WWE guy, and TNT champion, former. Right, but here's what I'm saying though. They needed to have a guy like Rusev or Miro coming in because he's had that experience on their television as far as big match presence. Their biggest problem right now is they have too many guys with not enough TV time. So they went from having AEW Dark for being able to introduce some new guys, and like that's where Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara had a little bit more time to show what they had, to not having that time really anymore. Because right now Dark is just squash matches just to help get through that time frame. So I don't know.
But
They got to do something.
It's squash matches and matches to give guys wins when they're about to lose the next night. So honestly, they have a little cleaning up to do, and hopefully they'll diversify their championships, because again, having 3 championships held by former WWE guys, it's gonna start to give that perception, whether it's true or not. And trust me, I'm a fan of AEW, but I hear the rumblings. People say it to me all the time. It's like, who's the champion? Oh, former WWE guy. Oh, who's the tag team champion? Oh, former WWE TNT championship, former WWE. They have to remedy that soon, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They gotta develop their own talent too, because especially guys like John Moxley, he's not going to be around forever. FTR's got some time, but I'm not worried about them. But yeah, they gotta also show that they can develop their own talent, not rely on old WWE names. But moving on, I think you guys will like this news. Our good friend Earl Cole posted that Dynamite drew 886,000 last night. NXT drew 689,000. Dynamite wins the ratings again last night. Both a drop off from last week. I wonder why. Because both shows were on at the same time.
Yeah, that's. Hopefully they go to Tuesdays. We can have one.
I think it's a win-win for everybody if WWE goes to Tuesday. Pretty much AEW carved their own path by going on TV for Wednesday nights, and WWE had to follow suit. But they're not. USA is apparently looking to get NXT onto Tuesday, and it seems like that's the talks of where it's headed. So AEW has shown that on their own that they can draw over 1 million people, which is a good sign, because Raw is only drawing upwards towards 1.7. Same thing with SmackDown. I think SmackDown just got over it too. But other than that, they've been hanging in the ones the whole time. So that's a good sign for AEW. That kind of gives us a good sign of what they can do without the competition, and showing that they're at least a 1 rating. It'd probably benefit for NXT to, if they want more viewers, to hop on a Tuesday night at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
But Good show. Very, very good night of wrestling. Of course, we're talking about AEW, but very good night of wrestling for both AEW and NXT. But NXT had the better women's match. Very good tag match on AEW side. But we're going to start. AEW Dynamite always started with their tag team matches. It's where they seem to have been excelling. It's been giving all their Dynamites a good start. We're going to have FTR versus Jurassic Express to start off this show. Pretty good match here, don't you think?
No, it was solid.
Here we see the Young Bucks come out in between the entrances of the two tag teams, and the Young Bucks super kick the referee. So we've seen the Young Bucks are on this trend of being heelish every week now, from what I notice. What's going on with the Young Bucks here?
I honestly don't know, but I do like the edge that they're showing. It's something that was missing from their character for a while. So I'm like really ecstatic that they're showing, some aggression, some sharp edges. I don't know. The fact that they kicked the referee and went to the back and gave Tony Khan some money. It's like, here you go. Like,
yeah. Oh, they showed Tony Khan and the gorilla. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was. I don't know if I would use the word cool, but
you never see him on TV, really.
You don't. It doesn't look like he wants to be on TV, which is cool.
He looked like the guy who was working at the mini mart. Did you notice that?
I'm assuming it was hot as hell. So
hey, listen, he was just chilling backstage.
He was wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt.
Was he really? I didn't notice that. But then again, they're in Florida. That would make sense.
Well, yeah, they're in Florida,
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
They love Mickey Mouse down there.
Hey, listen, M likes Mickey Mouse too.
I don't.
You do.
100%.
Yeah. Listen, you don't. I mean, Wayne, you don't see it in the background. You go a little bit to the left. Big picture of Mickey.
Maybe Mickey Mouse, the actual mouse that's in the.
I see a Mickey pop up there on top.
Oh no! Oh, that's what that was.
Maybe Mickey, the sewer rat that lives downstairs, and I'm cool with him.
That's the difference. You go to Florida, it's actually Mickey Mouse. You come to New York,
where it is Mickey Rat.
It's Mickey Rat.
Mickey Rat. That's the sewer rat downstairs in the garbage can.
Yeah. Welcome to the adventure land over here. You can make it through the potholes. You can enjoy the guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You did a good New York accent.
Listen,
every so often, right?
Listen, I know,
often imitated, never duplicated.
Yeah, but he kind of had it.
There. He did it pretty good, though.
Yeah. You know what? I'm rubbing off on him. That's what it is.
I'm here all week. I'm here all week. Try the veal. All right, let's go.
we got a comment from our good friend David Smith. Yes, Japan starts this Saturday. I'm definitely going to be in for the first couple days for sure. I hope I can get it all in. I mean, I have a crazy work schedule. We're shorthanded, so my work schedule is going to be 12:30 to 9:30 Monday through Friday instead of 9:30 to 6:30. So that could put a hitch in some things, but I don't know. 2020, you just got to roll with the punches sometimes.
Dude,
people having babies, people going off to the Navy.
This is where I thank everything holy and unholy that I work for myself, and it will be on TV in the store.
I just want to go on. I just want to go on record and say one thing about M working. That includes him putting on a sheep mask and taking pictures.
That was me working today. Look at this. Like
you and I,
me working today.
You and I. Listen, you and I haven't discussed what the definition of work is. Okay.
So that's hard work, all right? Entertaining you guys.
It took 15 minutes for you to get that mask on, right?
No, more like 15 minutes to take it off.
Oh man!
Meanwhile, the Young Bucks came in and kicked the referee, and
but after that, the match was very good.
I enjoyed that. I like you and I were talking about it. I said, wouldn't it be nice for them to let Jungle Boy get a win here and then next week have a title match? You looked at me. You said that would be the dumbest idea ever, and I'm like, yeah, I see your perspective of it.
No, because that's the other company booking. You make somebody a champion. you have to bring prestige to those titles. You don't go losing your first match as champions. That makes no sense. It means that you should not be champions in the first place. You don't have your champions lose anything.
Well,
at least you try not to.
That's what WWE has conditioned.
See, I didn't say their name. You did.
Okay.
You brought it up.
The Connecticut-based wrestling company,
exactly,
said the way they do it in Connecticut is what they do is they have the champion lose a match to gain a shot the following week, and then they just bury them the following week anyway. So
exactly,
that's what we are conditioned for.
But I've broken the bonds, my brother. I have broken the bonds. I won't think like that. The championships mean something now. All right, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Listen, you're the man in the ring. You're the man who's climbed the ladder for greatness. So I will believe you.
FTR gets the win here. And yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to go 50-50 booking because they were advertising, well, Jurassic Park wins and they get a title shot. That is the formula what WWE does to set up a match for a tag title match. But they didn't go that route. FTR gets the win.
There you go. And they cheated, which is what heels do.
Yeah, Tully Blanchard got in there.
So listen, that's what you're supposed to show us, man. Those are champions. If you're gonna have like a cheap win, that's fine, but you gotta have them win 1, 2, 3, not some shenanigans and they get pinned and then you give a title shot. That is too convoluted. Stop with that type of 50-50 booking. I can't stand it.
Yeah, the 50-50 booking doesn't do favors.
It really doesn't.
You can see why on the Connecticut brand for sure.
Is that what we're gonna call it now from now on? Yes, the Connecticut brands.
It's the brand that shall not be named. It's like Voldemort.
Oh man, Kazarian had a good outing last night.
What a match!
That was a fun match.
We obviously knew Hangman was going to win, but he had a great outing.
Yeah,
you know what my favorite part of the match was? After the match, Kenny was like, "All right, yeah, we're gonna go. All right, we'll see you guys later." And then Hangman's looking around, going, "Where did Kenny go?"
And that was one of the things I was trying to say is that this story with Hangman and his descent into alcoholism is not over. We haven't seen rock bottom. The first part of it was him losing the titles. Now we get to see him fall further into disarray, I would say.
Losing his friends.
Yes. Which is the story that I've wanted to see for a while, man. And I honestly think this will be, and mark my words now, September 17th, it's going to be a story of redemption eventually. And I still think that this will take him to the title.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that, actually, because wouldn't it be nice for Paige to say, I'm sober now, and all of a sudden the Bucks and Kenny are his friends again, and he's the champion?
No. See, you went the Rosie way. It can't be like that.
Listen, a man can dream.
No, what I see, and stop me if you guys heard this one before, it's Kenny finally wins the title. Let's face it, Kenny's going to go on a roll soon.
So do you think Kenny shows up at the 1-year anniversary show after Jon Moxley wins his match, and then they start a program there?
I hope so.
With Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley?
I want to see somebody who can actually take the belt away from him. Even if it doesn't happen, which I still think it should. Heel Kenny, and Kenny runs with it for a while, man. Listen, we're destined to see Kenny be a champion, world champion in AEW. It's going to happen. Might as well start the train now. And then eventually, hopefully, because it looks like Hangman was tapped to take it eventually. Who better to take it from than Kenny? And then what a storyline that will be, man.
Yeah, I think with like what you just said there about having Kenny all of a sudden jump Moxley with the theory and everything, I saw that Kenny liked it on his Facebook page. So I think if they're liking the story and they're reposting it, there's a good chance they're not going to do it. So I'm going to hold my.
Well, but if they like it, then why wouldn't they do it?
Or maybe they like it because we figured it out.
Or maybe they're liking it because they are trolling us.
Yeah, like you know that brand in Connecticut. Again, the cloud, the thinking of trying to think too hard with the booking, or as Vince Russo would say, they're not going to try and swerve you, bro. Sorry,
but I think that's what we need sometimes is to be swerved. Give us the unpredictable. Give us something we haven't seen before.
It was like Albert not showing up at AEW last night at the start.
I know, but the poor guy thought it was on Thursday. So.
I know we were both sitting there like, "Where's Albert?" We're like 8:30, and them's like, "I guarantee you, we thought it was Thursday." I'm like, "Listen, he's not here." And all of a sudden, Albert called. He's like, "What are you guys doing? Watching AEW?" Oh yeah, crap.
So I'm still sticking with my guns here, based on last week. I said it last week. Hangman wants to patch things up, make things better. Hopefully they get through this. That's his angle.
Yeah,
Kenny's angle is I don't want any part of it. I have a feeling that somehow Hangman and Kenny, Hangman will talk Kenny into a rematch of sorts against FTR. And then we finally get that split. But with either Kenny or Hangman physically turning on each other, who turns, I'm not too sure. But I'm thinking that Kenny will turn or Hangman will turn from there. And then this way it sets up a one-on-one match, say, at November.
Well, one of the things that I loved was
now how you fit the title picture in, I'm not even entirely sure yet. But
well, what I liked about last week's little sit-down interview with one with Kenny, one with Hangman, was Kenny said, I've been tagging with Hangman for almost a year, and I'm noticing some things, and I noticed some things that I liked, and I noticed things I didn't like. I thought that was such a diplomatic way of saying, dude, the guy's an alcoholic and I hate that. You know what I mean? I was the nicest thing, but I think I honestly feel that I agree with Kenny on this one. On this, that side of the story is that this was drawn out as long as they could, and now Kenny wants to be a singles guy. And how Paige wouldn't be able to understand that is still beyond me. Yes, they're a great tag team, and I think they did some really, really fun things as a tag team. But reality is, from a fan, I want to see Kenny as a singles.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to see Hangman as a single. And I tell you, that match with Kazarian last night, I'm telling you, I looked at the birthday boy over there, and I basically said to him, I'm like, I had no problem with this. I actually loved that match. It was a lot of fun. I watched it again this afternoon.
Very good.
I watched it, and can I tell you though, it was one of those matches. As good as Hangman looked, Kazarian came out looking just as good. And we've been talking about the disintegration of SCU a little bit, with Christopher Daniels taking more of a behind the scenes role and Scorpio Sky being out on his own. Where does this leave Kazarian? Look, Kazarian, I think he's never going to be a main event guy in that company. But there's no reason why he shouldn't be in that mid-level talk with the TNT Championship or the FTW Championship, whatever Tony Khan and company decide to morph with that championship around. We'll see where that goes too. But I had no problem with this match whatsoever. I thought both guys came out looking very good. Obviously, it was set to continue the storyline with Hangman and Kenny.
But it was a solid match, man.
It was a great match.
But I'm always pretty much impressed by those guys, so it's nothing new. It was good. But what was the next match?
Moving on. MJF defeats Sean Dean, if I got that right. Newcomer with the Salt of the Earth finishing move. MJF goes on the mic calling himself the undisputed, undefeated, uncrowned All Elite World Champion. I should have made some of that part of my name tonight, but I didn't think of it. But what did you guys think of MJF's match and promo before we move on?
Dude, the moment that he came out, I said, this is a squat. And I didn't get the finish before he squashed him. I was like, God damn, like, let the guy breathe before you beat him. And it was over within, I blinked and it was over, actually. So we all knew it was pretty much set up so MJF can talk. And that's exactly what he did, which I had no problem with. It's like that dude has a silver tongue. And give him a mic and I'm listening, man. And he didn't disappoint again.
Best promo in the business. That's all I got to say. And him coming out saying he might need a stable makes you wonder who. And that's the thing that sort of caught my ear was he wanted to talk about having a stable, and they're not really playing up the Warlord thing after last week. And
yeah, they got along last night.
Yeah, yep. Last night they got along. Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, Em and I have this argument on and off now about the challengers for Moxley and how I felt they could have gotten another match out of the MJF thing. and M disagreed with me, and I'm not against. I'm not. I don't think that either of us are wrong in that. I just think this is the direction that they chose to do, or just to conclude the story. And I feel a little better if I knew where they were going. Just like the same thing with Jericho and Cassidy.
Oh my God! And that's what I was going to say.
Like we knew that was over after All Out.
After 3, though, we shouldn't know it's over after 3. 3 is too much.
Listen, cool down there, hot boy. We just have
you push my buttons. You brought Cassidy up.
Listen. Listen, we have plenty of time to talk about Cassidy, especially in the main event. But
look, it's basically the same thing. That was my argument.
Well, no, but here's but here's a better example of what you and I talked about this last night with Cody and Jericho. With MJF turning on Cody, you knew where Cody was going after that, and we knew that Jericho was not going to do much before going into Moxley in the beginning of the year. So at the end of I think that was Full Gear last year, where that happened. So
Full Gear was Jericho and Cody.
Yeah, so you knew Cody was going with MJF, and you knew that Jericho was probably just going to be doing stuff with the Inner Circle and getting into the new year, fighting, Jungle Boy, fighting whoever, doing stuff with the Inner Circle. My big thing is there's no real clarity for MJF and Moxley afterwards. Well, we know Moxley was going to Lance Archer, where it's just going to be a lot sooner than we thought. And by the way they're booking it, if you think that Lance Archer's winning that championship, no, they're coming.
1,000% no.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem. Is as much as we want them to swerve us sometimes, some of the things they do make it so obvious that we just groan, and you just hope that the action is good to cover up the bad booking.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't say that it was bad booking. It's just booking we're not used to, because again, we're conditioned by the big company in Connecticut to think a certain way. And now we're starting to look at things in different ways and possibilities and ways you could do things. And it's possible. We don't have to have a return match right away. That was one of the things that I got upset about, the whole Orange Cassidy. And honestly, that whole debacle to me destroyed the character. I don't even want to see him on TV at this point. Like, it makes me angry every time he comes on TV. It's like, God damn it. Again, I got to deal with Cassidy. I used to really pop for him. I can't pop for him the same, because it's like, you start to feel like, all right, this is being shoved down your throat. I don't want to see it every week.
Yeah, the less and more thing sometimes is better. Exactly. And last week, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but you if you do that with every angle and every rivalry, you'll burn everybody out, man. I just saw MJF and Moxley. They didn't have the greatest match, but it was good. It was good. It was passable. I don't want to see it again. Even if there's a stipulation attached to it, give it time, man. I might want to see it in about 5 or 6 months. I don't want to see it in a month or 2.
But do you feel the same way about doing something like that with after the way MJF beat Cody? I wanted to see those two. I wanted to see those two battle again, and they sort of didn't. But maybe they could. Like, if Cody still would have been the TNT champion, and MJF went after him, that would have been a good excuse for him to renew that rivalry, which still has legs in it. That's the thing. But sometimes they still have legs in it.
But the legs can be used later on. We don't need the legs to be used immediately. That's the thing, is that that rivalry, one day you'll see, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. They'll use it down the line, and you'll be like, you know what? Actually, that was better. We don't need everything 2 seconds after it happens.
Again, we're conditioned for it.
Exactly. I don't want to see it week to week. I don't want to see them in tag matches. I don't want to see them ad nauseum, man. You gotta let everything breathe. It's like a fine wine. Wrestling is like wine. Let it breathe, and it could be great. Don't just shove it in your goddamn mouth.
Well, listen, you remember back up until 95, the big company in Connecticut was doing things that, they had where things were spread out. You were able to let things breathe because you had time.
But plus you were running 1 hour shows, so it was easy to let feuds breathe.
Exactly.
Well, but again, back in those days, you would go from the, can I say WrestleMania? We say big company in Connecticut.
The Mania thing.
Yeah, the Mania thing versus, and then the Summer thing. So
the slamming of summer.
The slamming of the summer, and then a series that you survive.
Yeah, exactly.
and that run. that
But
Rumble.
And that Rumble that's royal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Rumble that's royal. Exactly.
And then there's that ring where you can become the king.
But it
So
was the same thing. They had what it was. It
And
was
then they get out of my house pay-per-views.
yeah. But in the beginning, they had what? They had everything was spaced out 3 months, and then you had a pay-per-view. This is exactly what AEW is doing. So
And-
if you're in that model, don't rush anything.
And you had the guy then you had like a guy who the warrior that was ultimate, and then the rude guy who was ravishing was able to go from a January through the summer feud, and they were able to space it all out. So it still made it interesting because those guys would still be in action against other people.
Exactly.
While the feud went from January to August.
Exactly. I should not see if you and Wayne are fighting, and I'm watching this on TV. I don't want to see this on TV every week because why the hell would I watch the pay-per-view if I've seen it for 5 or 6 weeks already?
Well, that's what I've been saying about TXN on the other channel on Wednesday nights.
I just caught that. That's how slow I am. I'm like, what's that?
On the United States of America network.
yeah. But all joking aside, like that's what I had been saying about NXT for a while. Was the beauty of it being on the WWE network is you were not seeing it the same guys every single week, which made it fresh. So if Finn Balor was the champion in NXT, in the span of between takeovers, you saw him maybe 3 times on TV in the ring, and maybe some vignettes around that time as well. But you didn't see him all the time. Now you have the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole and the Dream and all these guys and Keith Lee every single week. It takes away from the specialness of what it was when it was on the network, and I think that's a big no. Okay, let's get back to AEW.
Yes. So MJF gets the win. We do know that. Hey, listen, I said it to you guys. It would have made sense for MJF to do a little in between feud while he was campaigning. Continue to campaign because it is election season. Why not run with the campaign gimmick to November and set up a November main event return match with possibly MJF winning? Would have made the most sense, but
no,
it just looks like AEW is going from one guy to another guy to another guy. So I couldn't even tell you who's going to challenge for the AEW title next after Lance Archer.
Kenny.
by the way, win with that.
Oh yeah, and it looks like they're building to Kenny because Kenny is saying he wants to go back to his focus on his singles career.
I think the only last thing with MJF is I think it would have been better if he would have gotten the title shot and All Out.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't get it and they had to wait a couple months and he really had to campaign hard to get that title shot months down the line, because that campaign was one of the best things that they were doing on
it was fun, yeah,
Dynamite for a couple weeks. So if they would have been able to drag that out for like 2 or 3 months,
yeah, but then it would have got stale. If they would have started it later and kept it within a month or a month and a half during election season, yes. To drag it for 3 months, that's a little.
Hey, listen, they could have done like some kind of gimmick where they, obviously you knew MJF would challenge Jon Moxley, but they could have done some kind of gimmick where the fans vote for the next number one contender.
And then Darby Allin would have won every single time.
Well, no, it'd be rigged. It would have you would have MJF win that, and then he would get elected in to a match with Jon Moxley to quite possibly win. I thought it would have been pretty coherent storytelling for this time of year that we're in. But that's neither here or there. Moving on. Private Party versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. So, Jericho and Hager with the win. Jericho further attacking Cassidy with the walls of Jericho. Mark Quinn comes in with the save and knocking out Jericho with the Pele kick. What did you guys think of this match before we move further?
Could someone remind me why Jericho and Jake Hager are a tag team right now? I mean, do we not have enough tag teams? Are we hurting?
Doesn't the Inner Circle already have a tag team?
Exactly. And not only that, did we not just get 2 singles stars to not be tag teams anymore? It's like they just took their place. What was the sense of this? I don't. I'm sure they're building to something. I honestly can't tell you what it is. I don't see it making a lot of sense. But come on, you can have Jericho doing so many other things. To be in a tag team with Jake Hager.
Listen, I would be just as, and Randy, I don't know if you agree with me on this. I would be just as happy with Jericho sitting down a commentary for the next couple weeks and building up to the next feud. I mean, Jericho could build up to his next feud just by there was commentary every week.
Yeah, there's no rush.
That's what I had suggested too at one point or another. But look, at the end of the day, there's one other side question here: is who jumped Matt Hardy?
Come on, it was Jericho.
Okay, I just wanted to verify. Okay, look. I agree with you. We don't need another two single guys going together as a tag team. It's something as a filler for Jericho to do. Again, I think the inner circle loses steam when Jericho doesn't have the championship, and that's where we're at now. And now Jericho is sort of looking like a big fish in a little pond without the championship. And not only that, but one of the things that we discussed yesterday too was, man, Jericho is just not taking bumps and moving the way he should be anymore. But he's also 47 years old, a little bit of a little too much bubbly.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of that belly going on there.
I honestly don't think it's that. I think that he's stretching himself thin.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you trim a couple pounds there, he'll move around a little quicker.
Yeah, but even that is like he's taking front falls when they should be back falls. That has nothing to do with physical conditioning. It's like he can be muscular as hell. He's still falling the wrong way. So I just think there's too much on his plate, man.
I'm definitely not arguing with you on that.
But the match was serviceable. I can't sit there and fault it.
I mean, obviously you knew who the winner was going to be.
Oh, 1,000%, man, and that was a shame because I think that Private Party could have used that rub. Maybe down the line, hopefully we'll get that where they get a big victory against one of these more established either teams or I don't even know what to call Jake Hager and Jericho. I mean, a team.
The inner circle.
Yeah. I just don't know what the hell they're thinking on this one.
Yeah, I think it's Jericho needs something to do, and you already have 3 guys at the commentary booth. I don't know how many more guys you can fit over there.
It doesn't fill me with excitement.
Moving on, since we're already kind of talking about Inner Circle a little bit, we'll jump right into the main event really quick, and then we'll talk about Thunder Rosa after. But we had the parking lot fight: Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. Best Friends with the win. This was a pretty good war. I enjoyed this match.
Yeah, how do we get?
And they ended up defending the honor of Trent's mom, Sue.
How do we get to the main event?
Yeah, are we skipping Moxley? Are we skipping the whole Eddie Kingston and?
I think we are, which is fine because it was what it was.
Eddie Kingston still hasn't been eliminated from the Battle Royal.
He's got a legitimate gripe.
And Blade he told Blade, go get your wife, put her back in hot leather. Let's go.
Yeah, what did he say? He said, clean up your house. See, I like him because he's got my accent.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, Eddie Kingston once again hinting for possible run at the. He's dropping hints, so again we could probably see Eddie Kingston getting a match eventually.
But dude, that match, since you brought it up, because now I'm going to talk about it. That match between Santana Ortiz and the Best Friends. Holy crap. The fact that they were dressed like dead presidents with the makeup, I get so mad at you guys. It's like, how did you not see that movie? That movie was good.
I wasn't allowed to watch movies in the 90s.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was very.
I didn't watch it. I'm that guy. I didn't.
You live under a rock, Randy. If it's not sports, you don't do it. I'm gonna sit you down in front of the TV and show you movies one day. I swear. But I digress. The match was incredible. I was having so much fun watching this match, and all of a sudden, Cassidy comes out. God damn, really? I was having so much fun. This was a classic beat 'em up, man. Everybody was bleeding. There was violence everywhere. It was intense, and then you come up with the comedy, which was not needed. and it made me so angry.
I got to tell you though, there were some spots during this match where
I was
we were both like cringing at one point. We're like,
what the hell? This is
like,
incredible.
like when they opened the front hood and shut it on him, and all of a sudden he's sitting there doing Seitan bombs and then the flips,
bombs and all
bombs and all this other stuff, and like the breaking the 2x4s over the guys. I was like, oh my god,
this was unadulterated violence, and Cassidy had no goddamn business being there.
Well, before you start saying he's got no business there,
no goddamn business destroying the integrity of this match.
Last week they jumped, Santana Ortiz jumped Cassidy after his match with I forgot his name. The guys who wear the neon green.
Best friends.
No, Hybrid 2? Are you talking about Hybrid 2?
Yes, Hybrid 2.
Yeah.
So it's escaped my brain. But Cassidy got jumped by Ortiz and Santana. So Cassidy jumps out of the truck. Do I think it was the right booking? No, but you have to have an explanation, and that's the explanation. I didn't like it either. I'm just telling you that's the explanation I have.
You could give me an explanation. Whether I'm gonna be happy with that explanation, that's totally different. I'm still pretty pissed because again, I'm sitting there engaged. All right, you know how hard it is to be engaged. During this era, 2020, COVID, all this crazy stuff. The world is upside down, and you have me hooked 1,000%, and you go and destroy the integrity of that match by having this guy come out of a trunk. Yeah, thanks. You ruined it. All right, it was so good, and then you ruined it.
I don't know if I should apologize or
you should.
Why should I apologize?
I was unhappy.
I had nothing to do with it. Shame on you.
You popped, and that's why they keep doing it.
I want to listen. I think M needs a little bit of a break from Orange Cassidy.
I do.
I think M needs a hug.
I don't need a hug. That's the last thing I need.
I think you should get Lalani Kai in here and give him a hug. I think something's.
Or Bertha Faye. She's available.
No, I'm good, guys.
How about Vicky?
Listen.
Trent's mom?
Listen, you know what? I'll go out with Trent's mom. I don't mind being a stepdad.
Nyla Rose?
She has a nice car. What can I say? I don't have one.
And the final visual of the middle finger by
Judy
the way was Judy Bagwell. That's wrong.
You know what's funny is that this is a PG show. You're pushing my buttons. You know what I would say. 1,000%. I would tell you. Don't worry. At one point, we're gonna be offline, and I'll be
don't look at me. Look at this guy over here. Look at him. He's pushing that button.
Listen, you guys know what's waiting for you.
Tommy's off this week. We gotta. Someone's gotta take the abuse.
It's all right. I'm gonna abuse you guys afterwards.
Oh man,
everything up the face sounds like truck.
Listen, past my bedtime. I can't really.
But before we talk about our last match of the night, next Tuesday night there's AEW Late Night Dynamite. What's up with this?
1 hour.
1 hour on a Tuesday night after the NBA playoffs,
and it actually looks interesting.
We're getting Scorpio Sky versus the debuting Ben Carter, Brandy Rhodes versus Anna Jay, and Matt Sydal versus Shawn Spears.
Oh, that's going to be good too.
But why the 1 hour? Do we know why this is happening?
Brandy.
Extra footage.
Is that what it is?
Extra footage. Yeah. Look, Dynamite was taped. This last night's Dynamite was taped last week. And so this was not a live show. Because there's a lot of different confusion with the NBA playoffs going on, so they just had to work it out where they got as much footage taped as they possibly could. The 23rd is the next live Dynamite.
Okay, so next week.
So that brings us to next Wednesday.
Yeah, so next Wednesday. So they just have a lot of tape footage, and also on next week's Dynamite. Not to keep getting ML fired up. But Mr. Brody Lee will defend the TNT Championship.
How the hell did we get there?
Against Orange Cassidy. You beat Chris Jericho. You get yourself a title match.
You threw him in goddamn Mimosa. You didn't beat him, all right?
Oh, man. That match is kind of out of nowhere. There was really no build for that. I guess you could look at the ranker, but
no, it'll be worse if he wins. Like I agree with
I
you.
will lose my mind. Just to let you guys know. So
Oh,
prepare yourself. If
Orange, don't worry, Orange Cassidy's not the one that's gonna take the W here.
not be.
if Orange Cassidy wins that match, I'm sprinting out of the store as quickly as I could.
Yeah, remember it's like those times when Roman Reigns would win the championship every single time, and I would just like walk away and rage somewhere.
Can I tell the story? I'm sorry. Can I quickly tell the story? We were watching an Elimination Chamber match.
Was it elimination?
Yeah, and Braun Strowman was eliminating everybody. Eliminated Balor, eliminated Cena, eliminated Rollins, eliminated everybody. And it took one Superman punch and one spear to take down Braun Strowman. And Roman Reigns wins that. And M is like blowing a gasket. He goes, "This was the dumbest thing I've ever seen."
That's like, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
canceling my network. We
It's
are
like TV one day you can't see is going to piss some people off. Not even some people. A good majority of the people are going to be pissed off if one dude is destroying everybody and then one dude destroys him.
Hey, listen, the Superman punch is a very powerful move.
I see another Superman punch, I'm gonna break something because now Orange is doing the what is it? The orange punch. You're making me slip, man. You almost had me. Everyone has to start placing bets on when I'm finally going to lose it. Because if I keep seeing Superman punches,
I think if he wins the TNT championship,
I'm a loser 100%, man.
I have a feeling that next Wednesday is a guarantee that I will not be showing up.
I literally have this mental picture. If he wins the belt on the Wednesday, Thursday night, it's be like, so welcome to Talking Dynamite. We have Randy and we have Tommy here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right? Listen, I'll rage from the comments section.
Marino right now is in prison because he beat the hell out of everybody.
Exactly. He broke everything in the store. I don't know. We couldn't control him.
Next week on Wednesday's show, we get Jon Moxley, the AEW champion, with Will Hobbs. AEW has been slowly pushing that guy week by week, and Darby Allin versus Lance Archer, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage.
I'm looking forward to that, actually.
I'm looking forward to that, too. I'm looking at that right now, and I think that's a tough one to call. I think you need to give Lance Archer, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage the win here to build that feud up to try to make it a little bit more believable, even though it's not going to happen, but a little more believable that Lance Archer can beat. What's that?
Will Hobbs.
Will Hobbs. He reminds me of the guy from WCW. I don't know if you guys remember the tag team Fire and Ice.
Yep. It looks like.
Does that sound? And he used to tag with that other big guy. There were two big guys.
Norton, and Craig Pittman. Yeah.
God, that brings me back.
Was it Craig Pittman? No.
Yeah.
I might have to call you out on that.
He actually looks like Mr. Hughes, though. That's who he looks like.
I don't know. He's just a big dude, which I don't mind, but he's the one that I see taking the pin if the heels take this match.
Yes,
I think
Lance Archer's got to get the win here.
Yeah, well, I was thinking maybe if Lance Archer would actually get a fall on Moxley, they can hold that over his head.
They're not.
Yes, that's another thing that should probably happen too.
He's undefeated. I mean, this will be his first defeat.
It's a tag match, so I don't think it hurts Moxley to take a loss here.
But that's going to be a loss regardless. Like the same thing happened when MJF. He was undefeated, and then he lost, I think, a tag match. And then that was one loss.
Didn't Moxley have one loss this year?
No, he's undefeated this year in 2020.
That's interesting.
I think has he lost any matches? Now that I think about it, he's pretty much won everything.
He lost one match. I think it was a tag match last year during Dynamite when Pac was his tag team partner.
Yeah, you're right. And I barely remember that. It felt like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, remember those days when there was an audience in the stands?
Remember those days where there wasn't a global pandemic?
Yes.
Farms remembers.
Brody Lee defending his TNT title against Orange Cassidy, which we touched on quite a bit tonight. Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa versus Diamante and Ivelisse in tag team action. And we get Chris Jericho on commentary next week. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Before we
For
end
sure.
this, what about the match between Ivelisse and my girl
Yes,
Oh,
that's
is that-
my last point that I was going to talk about.
Thunder
Now.
Rosa?
We are going to talk about that next, actually. So
Look
for those
at-
of you that are watching, make sure you guys are subscribed. Just know as a reminder that we are available on Google Play, Spotify, and iTunes. Make sure you share this with your friends. I know there are a few of you guys watching tonight. Help get the word out. But yes, G1 Climax 30. We are going to talk about our last talking point of the night. And Randy, if there's any news that we may have missed, any big news this week, feel free to chime in. But we have Thunder Rosa defending her NWA title against Ivelisse.
Listen,
Which was just interesting because it's defending another company's title on another company's ring, which I always think is significant.
oh man, it was so cool to see it. It's historic.
Thunder Rosa can work.
She's a great worker, and one of the things I was telling Randy is like you can tell that she was trained as a wrestler. She was not trained as a female wrestler, but a wrestler first, and those are the ones that become great. All right, and I wasn't thrilled with the match itself because I thought it should have been a lot. It should have been crisper. But the thing is, I always complain. Ivelisse, she's Puerto Rican, man, and it hurts me, but I'm not a huge fan of hers.
Ivelisse did mess up one spot, and I think Thunder
Oh,
Rosa
it was more than one
saved it.
spot.
Well, it was the one spot that I noticed. It was Hurricane Rana that
Yes.
it didn't really look good.
looked
Thunder
fun.
Rosa did everything she could to make
And
it
she
look
did.
good.
And that's the thing is like you go in there and sometimes you can try to make somebody look good and it's impossible. And that was one of the situations where it's like I'm not sure why they put Thunder Rosa, who's a worker, with someone like Ivelisse. Like I said, no offense to Ivelisse, I'm sure she's good. I don't think she's ready for TV. Maybe that's just my personal opinion. There just seems to be some disconnect with her wrestling. Maybe she's not sure of the timing, or maybe she's nervous. It's all conjecture on my part, but she's not doing it for me, and the match was sloppy when it really shouldn't be. This was a match I was looking forward to. I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan. That woman can work, man, and I'll say it again. AEW should have hired her when they had the chance. I don't know how they let NWA sign her. That she should have been there fighting with Shida and everybody else. I don't know. The women's division is weird in AEW. It doesn't as much as emphasis.
She's there to help out the women's division right now.
Yeah, but I mean, the women's division is just weird in AEW. Let's just state facts.
Yep.
It's I don't know if it's because Kenny likes certain people, but sometimes the styles don't mesh. Sometimes they're not used to TV. It needs a retool. You need to get women in there who are workers. You need workers in there, man. You need to put on matches that I can show my friends that don't watch wrestling. Those are the things that interest people, especially listen, female wrestling is high right now. So it's important to be able to say, hey, to one of my non-wrestling fans, look at what this girl did, man. Can you imagine like 20 years ago me saying this when it was all divas and models? This is something that we should cherish, man. And that's why I sit there and I put so much emphasis. There should be workers in AEW, not just entertainers. Not saying that Ivelisse is an entertainer, but she's got to work on a little bit on the polish.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with you on it. And look, at the end of the day, that was just really bad. There was no saving that. That's just the way it sort of was. But look, at the end of the day, man, I like the crossover because it's different. You kept on saying before, because that big company in Connecticut, we're just not we're trained. We're trained for a certain way, and because this was something new, we weren't expecting it. It was nice to see something different, like Thunder Rosa being able to defend the NWA Championship on AEW television.
Man, imagine what a world would be like if all companies allowed some kind of crossover.
I mean,
Oh,
at
yeah.
the end of the day, they should. Honestly, there's enough of us that look at me. For instance, I love New Japan. I love AEW. I can stomach if I'm on a good day, I'll watch some NXT. I really hate WWE in general, but I love the performers there. The wrestling is good. There's enough talent, and there's enough fans who will watch multiple shows. Get them to start looking. Like the wrestling industry will only get stronger if we know about all these other places, Ring of Honor, Impact, NWA, MLW. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I have to ask a question though, and this is a fair question. So let's say AEW and WWE decide to work together, and they put AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega together. Who's winning?
Depends.
Well, that's the thing. WWE is not going to want to have their guy look weak, and
Okay.
AEW is not going to want one of their top stars jobbing out to.
If you can put pettiness aside, if you can work together, truly work together, then you pick a winner. Look, we saw Shida defeat Thunder Rosa. There was no hubris there. There was no hurt feelings. You're on an AEW show. You do the job. I'm sure if Shida went to NWA, she'd have no problem doing the job.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I'm going to use an example of something that was said a couple weeks ago that I saw on TV. Who wins? That's again, like you just said before, pride is a very, very tough thing. If you have the opportunity of playing WWE versus WCW back in the day, again, who would win?
Here's a quick answer. Where's it still taking place? If it's taking place in AEW, then whoever's wrestling for AEW wins. If it's taking place in WWE, same.
The only other solution to that is if you have multiple matches, maybe 2 matches going on.
Normally, that's
2 feuds going on. Have one AEW guy go over in one match and one WWE go over in another match, or whatever company you want to throw out there at this point.
But I don't see the big guys ever working together. It's only going to work with promotions like New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Or in ROH, yep, and maybe even Impact.
Impact with AEW or AEW with NWA. You can't have number 1 and 2 go at it to work together. I don't see that happen. They're too entwined in competition for that to ever work. But you're right,
especially the way Vince runs things now.
Exactly. Like he only works with people he wants to buy out. Let's face it. So.
True. Now, it came to me. I was just reading. Nick Aldis successfully defended his NWA title against Mike Bennett. So, with all the crossover that we've seen lately, do you think we see like a Nick Aldis on AEW?
I think that's going to happen at some point.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Because he was at Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor guys were I think he fought Flip Gordon because he had a feud going with Marty Scurll. Obviously, that's on hold now that Marty's on ice until the investigation is complete. The what was it? The speaking out investigation. Yeah. So until they resolve that, we're not going to see him on TV. They did 6 weeks of tapings, and he wasn't on one of them. So we're not going to see him for a while. And apparently Sinclair is very slow at doing these investigations. So he can write out the rest of his contract, while they investigate. Maybe they're just going to pay him to not do anything. Who knows? It's a sucky situation for everybody involved.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, that basically wraps up our AEW portion of our Deep Six Pro Wrestling podcast this week. Good show. We've covered a lot.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We got some more AEW content coming next week. We'll be in the midst of G1, the G1 tournament for sure.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my.
There'll be a lot to cover.
You know what? Before we end this, that's one thing I'm determined to do by the end of 2020. Randy is gonna be into New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm gonna get him. It's gonna happen.
Well, listen, he has the $9.99 to afford. I think he canceled the WWE Network.
Listen, I share my password with him. I'm constantly like, yo, you gotta see this match. If I don't sit him in front of a TV, it ain't gonna happen. And you know what? One day I'm just gonna show up to his house. I'm gonna tie him up. It's gonna be like Clockwork Orange. He's just gonna sit there with it. I know you guys don't know Clockwork Orange because you don't watch TV, but we're gonna like clip his eyes open, and I'm gonna be like, look, this is Okada and Shibata from 2017. You're gonna watch this. And I'm just gonna like make him watch all these great matches, and then he's gonna walk out and he's gonna be like, wow, man, thank you so much. You opened my eyes to amazing wrestling. You're welcome, Randy.
For me personally, it's hard for me to watch New Japan all year round because there's so much content. But I always pay attention to G1, and I always pay attention to Wrestle Kingdom for sure.
Dude,
those are the two big events I always pay attention to every year.
It's the wrestling that hooked me. It has always been the wrestling. It's the fact that they are technically sound. They're hard hitting. They pull no punches, man. And the match behind me, as you can see, like Ibushi straight punches Okada in the face multiple times, and I'm cringing the whole time. I'm like, please stop! Like, why are you punching him in the face? And like, he's legit punching him in the face. Like, holy crap! Like, stop.
I can't wait, and I will definitely be watching. I won't be watching at 3 a.m., but I'll definitely be watching Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed and share with your friends. Also available on Twitter, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Also visit www.backsportspage.com for all your sports news and interviews. I'm hearing that they are getting what's her name?
Lisa Marie. What is it?
Victoria, former Victoria, former Tara. She is Lisa Marie Verone, and she will be joining me this upcoming Tuesday on Off Topic. So check it out at Randy BSP, at Back Sports Page, at Off Topic BSP. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to talking with her. I have some other very big guests for Off Topic this upcoming week. You'll see them all listed. If you're on our social media network, you'll be seeing updates on who's on the show. I have one or two more big surprises if you're a wrestling fan.
Doink, dude. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
And Randy's going to be the one dressing up as the Doink.
I know. It's going to be me.
Well, listen, I originally, just to piss him off, I reached out to Hulk Hogan's people, and then they got back to me and they said he's not doing it. But I said, just to do that, I'll be like, so Hulk, I have a very good friend. His name is Emerito Rivera, and he's a big fan, Hulk. And he was watching.
You mispronounced Carlos Garcia. I am not a Hulk Hogan fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out Back Sports Page next week for that interview. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Share with your friends and family, whoever you think likes wrestling. Let's get the word out there that we're with you guys each and every single week. And until next week, guys, that wraps up episode 39. Episode 40 coming to you next week. We will see you guys then.